Hello everyone and welcome to Infused Transitions. I am so glad that you are here. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who are new, we hope that you enjoy the video and choose, and if it resonates obviously, to become a part of our channel and a part of our community. For those of you who are returning, you guys, thank you so much for all of your constant and continued support, and for being here and for showing up for yourself. And yeah, I just appreciate each and every one of you. As always, guys, only take what resonates, leave the rest. And these were the decks that I was called to pull. An interesting combination, I think. It'll be interesting to see what comes about as far as the message goes for these or through these decks. For those of you who are new, if you're wanting to understand more about how I read, you can check out that information in the description box below, along with my web address for my website, where you can find different services that I offer. Okay, look at that, already jumping out. We have storms, and I'm sorry if I don't pronounce these names correctly, but it looks like Oya. Storms with Oya. And I think it's really interesting that there's all these rings that are moving around with her. My immediate thought and response is it feels like there's a variety of things in the works. There's a variety of things happening, and each of them have their own cycle. And I mean, we can, sometimes cycles can be challenging to go through. And if we have multiple ones happening at one time, it can make us feel, if we let it, like I heard the word drowning or overwhelmed. I just feel like that if this is if this pertains to you, you may want to think about, like, okay, so let me prioritize, and where would my focus be most beneficial first, and do one thing at a time, that as much as you can. I'm literally hearing that song in my head from the musical Annie, The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. I think too, it's also, when we're talking about storms, now I don't know where you guys live, but if we're talking about storms, there's different things that can come with storms, right? You can have fire, you can have flooding, you can have tornadoes, hurricanes, monsoons, whatever. And each of those require preparedness, knowing what to do, when to do it, where to do it, how to do it, right? So that may apply to some of you. There might be, that there's these things coming down the pike, and it's just about getting yourself prepared and doing the best you can at that, For some of you who are in it and maybe and didn't or wasn't able to or whatever to do the preparedness, it's like, don't beat yourself up about it. Be aware of that so that for next time to have preparedness in place. But we meet yourself where you are. Meet yourself where you are and move forward from there. Okay. Do we have okay. That's way too many. We have Skemet. I don't know if that's how I pronounce it correctly. It's the Wounded Healer. So if you look at the two of these, we do have like yellows seem to run through both. This can be about you know, our yellow or our solar plexus chakra is something you may want to look into and see if any of those aspects about it speak to you about something. The wounded healer. Wow. Really feeling that in my throat. Some of you may need to speak about something that really wounded you. Whether that is you speak about it just out loud between yourself and your higher power, or a counselor, or a friend, or, you know, or whatever it is that applies to you. I am not a professional. You can check out the disclaimers in the description box below. I'm just sharing that, basically whatever it is you think that would be beneficial for you to help you work through these wounds so that you can become balanced and in alignment again with yourself, your true self, with your soul, however that applies to you. Then seek out what it is that you need that will help you to do that. I do feel like balance. There's something to bring balance, stability to the wounded heart. That's something that would be very beneficial for you. So make a wish and enjoy its manifestation. So I feel like, maybe there's something you're wanting to manifest, and might be some things to work through to free up your energy and to clear out things that get in the way of you wanting to manifest whatever it is you're wanting to manifest. And it will then allow you that space and that energy to call in and be a match for what it is you're wanting to call in. So the interesting thing here is, on the top, it's the mermaid. And she's sitting on the ground. She's touching the tip or the point of a unicorn's horn. So you can, clearly see that, right? But in the reflection, she's not a mermaid and it's not a unicorn. She's a girl sitting in a skirt and a top, and she's reaching out to a horse. And I feel like, it's bringing up this, having the, allowing yourself the joy and the playfulness to, imagine, visualize, whatever words you use for that this dream, this fantasy, right? And it doesn't matter what's being reflected to you. It's about what is it that you're wanting to create, and really allow yourself. I mean, I'm hearing for some of you, it would be very beneficial to literally set aside, if you have to set an alarm on your phone, then set that alarm on your phone, right? But sorry, I gotta get my hair up. I'm hot. But it would be very beneficial for you to allow yourself a break throughout, maybe once or twice in a day, to just take a minute, 30 seconds, to just pull up a visual of what it is you're trying to manifest. And, do what you can to try to, step into that energy. Now, for some people, they're like, yeah, I can't do that because it's so structured that it takes away the spontaneity, which for me takes away some of the energy. And again, if that's you, that's fine. Go with the flow. Do what works for you. If you're a person who is more like, well, if I don't set that alarm and I don't make time for it, I don't do it, or I'll forget about it. And a lot of times it's people go, well, if you're going to forget about it, then clearly that's not something that's really all that important to you. And that's not necessarily true. Especially if we're trying to manifest something and it's something very different than what we're used to, right? It can take a while to shift our thinking. It can take a while to rewire, remap our brain into this new belief, this new way of thinking, this new way of being. And sometimes to get from where we are or where we have been to where we want to go, wherever you are in that, right? We may have to do steps that are very specific. And maybe even, a few repetitive things here and there to create that new habit, that new vibration, to let the old neural pathways that don't serve anymore to, fall away, and for these new neural pathways to develop and to become strong, to manifest what we want. And I feel like a lot of it starts with, maybe the wounded heart is part of the storm, or maybe the wounded heart is from the storm, or, whatever that is for you. But again, I think it's really important to look at meeting yourself where you are and not judging yourself for where you are or where you've been or where you want to go, Thank you. Oh, and just so you guys all know, I don't think I said that. I do shuffle decks before I put them away. I do shuffle them really well, and I shuffle them off screen before I start. I usually try to remember to always shuffle on screen as well, and I don't know if I did. I don't think I did, which is unusual for me because normally I do. But just so you know, I do, the cards do get shuffled very well. Okay, and we have, they said look at the bottom. So on the bottom of the deck we have a change in the wind. A change in the wind. And you can see things are falling away and something else will come through in its place. The winds are picking up. Very nice. And what came out was loyal heart. Loyal heart. So I feel like for some of you, this is talking about your own loyalty to yourself, your loyalty to your healing, to your growth, to what it is you're trying to create. And it's not loyal to yourself in a, selfish, self-centered way. It's healthy boundaries. It's having balance, alignment, and harmony within, and letting that be also what your boundaries are based on. And, don't laugh if you don't know what healthy boundaries look like, which a lot of us don't, then again, don't beat yourself up. Meet yourself where you are. There are plenty of books and videos and people to talk to and all sorts of things to help you learn what does a healthy boundary look like in any area, right? Or areas. For others of you, this can be about someone coming, or someone that you already have in your life, who can support and assist you as you go through this. And what that support and assistance looks like, of course, can look different at any given moment and for each and every one of you and the different life areas and situations. Maybe for some of you, you're trying to manifest having a partner come in and someone who is a loyal heart. Okay. Let me see, just a moment, because they're having me pull out a couple of decks. Okay. Then they want this one. I find it interesting that these tend to be ones that work together of these ones I just pulled. So we have the Be You, Do You, For You. And it says from Lamar. That's the box. And again, just keep in mind all cards, all decks have been shuffled already. I mean, I will shuffle them because I'm taking them straight out of the box and it's my habit to do that. I'm not going to shuffle them extensively because they've already been shuffled before they went in the box. Okay, let's see. This is Cheryl Richardson, my daily affirmation cards. And I'm not even sure if we're going to use all of these. I never know. Sometimes they have me pull out cards and then we don't even use those decks. And then other times, like you see, I'll start out with something and then they want me to pull out more. So I never know. This is Cheryl Richardson's Grace cards. So an interesting thing, or maybe, I don't know, I think it's kind of interesting and, I don't know. Anyway, I had a chiropractor years ago when I lived in another state, and she would have this particular deck in her rooms, and they would be in this beautiful basket or bowl, different rooms, different, thing they would sit in. And then, when you would come in after your adjustment, she would hand you the basket or tell you to go to the basket or whatever so that you could pick out a card if you wanted. And that was my first experience, hands-on experience. This one is Cheryl Richardson self-care cards. That was my first experience of handling cards. And again, it was this specific deck. And they just touched me. I don't know. They just felt so beautiful and so healing, so full of light. Anyway, I don't know, just a little, I guess the moral of that story is you just never know where where a message is going to come through. Okay, so where are we going first? Okay, I guess we're going to do this one. This is Gemini Light by Evermind Oracle, which you can check out her Etsy shop called Evermind Oracle, or her YouTube channel, Evermind Oracle. Some of these get stuck in the bottom there. Shy, if you're watching, thank you. All right, out right away. Everything is part of the whole. We speak of singular things because we can only see one slice of the pie. So, again, it's kind of like this. It's like there's all these separate rings. It's because you can only see one slice of the pie at a time, right? It's I guess to me, I sit and I think about, there's that sometimes it's important for us to look at one thing at a time. Other times or I shouldn't say other times. And in conjunction with that, I feel like for many, having the big picture in your mind or thought about, this is the end goal. This is what I want this to look like at the end. And I'm going to work on this one thing now. And I'll work my way around to make that completion, to bring this to fruition. There's, but then so on the flip side of that, there's having that tunnel vision, right? Where we're so focused on this one thing in it, and so we miss everything else around it because we're just focusing on that one thing. So, again, it's balance, right? Having that, I have this big picture idea. I've looked at this and this for priority and what's most aligned and all that. I'm going to work on this one first. But I also feel it's about remembering to be flexible and remembering that this may be the big picture that you have in mind, but being willing to be flexible and let that become what it's meant to be and let it unfold that way and let it look the way it's supposed to look. And I say that because there's times when we can get really disappointed because we're like, well, it didn't, it doesn't look like this, and it didn't happen like this, and it didn't have, that's how we can, when we get into stepping into, we're trying to control and manipulate things to be exactly how, and maybe it's not aligned to have it exactly how you had it. Maybe it needs a few little adjustments here and there, or maybe it needs a huge overhaul. But being flexible is important. Because and everything is a part of that whole. There's things that we can learn, aha moments, healing, new understandings, learning new things, letting go of non-serving things, all that kind of stuff and more that can happen if we allow ourselves to be flexible. The outer reality is no threat to your inner reality. You can create a middle reality bubble that is a boundary and translation layer between you and the other, right? So really think about that for a moment, because we talked about what it is you're wanting to create, and this is how you see it in your head. This is how things reflect to you right now, right? And then think about that and how it applies to the imagery in here. Right? The outer is no threat to your inner reality unless we let it. If we let things tear us down, if we let things destroy, disturb, interrupt our peace, it can shift in a non-serving way what it is we're trying to create. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see. What else do we have? What else do we have? Ooh. Today I am filled with energy and overflowing with joy. Now, for some of you, I just really heard, yeah, right. So clearly, for some of you are struggling to have that energy or joy. And all I can say to that is, we've all been there. We've all done that. We've all had those times. Be gentle with yourself. Do what you can to bring, understanding to that process, and really allowing yourself, really allowing yourself to try to transmute. And here's the thing. You can do that in a whole, ritual or ceremony, or follow this person or that person's, thoughts, ideas, curricula, practices, whatever that may be. Or you can make up your own. You can make it as elaborate as you want it, or as simple as you want it. I mean, you can literally, if you're saying, yeah, I don't feel that way. I want to feel that way, but I don't feel that way, but I want to. Call it in. Using your own words, speaking in the way that you speak, because that's how it will, well, everything has to be taken with those things. Like, All right, so what I was going to say is speak the way that you would normally speak, because if we're trying to say things and call in things or let go of things and we're only using other people's words, there are times when, yes, that's what's needed because we're still trying to find our way. But then as we grow, then it's time for you to come up with your own wording, because learning how to speak or talk in the way that you're wanting to walk is part of the learning process. It's part of the retraining yourself, reteaching yourself, and let going of the old. So, you could make it as if all you're able to do, and again, I don't mean all as in, oh, that's it. I mean, if all you can do at this moment is, again, call on your higher power. Fill me with energy, the energy of joy, the energy of love. Fill me with, a happiness. Clear out in me. And if you know how you're feeling and it's not what you're wanting to feel, then state that. Clear out, blah, 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 blah. Or, transmute, blah, 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 blah. Heal, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the words are for you. And then just, hey, yes, I invite it, I accept that, and I receive that because I want to shift my energy, right? All right, what, oops, oh. Haha, how appropriate. Perception. See, and we were talking and really we were talking about that through all of this, right? Because, again, it's how do you look at things? Look at the big picture, but then focus on your steps, right? Look at, this is the energy I want to be in with the mermaid and the unicorn. And this is the happiness and the joy. And this is the vibration that I want to be in because it makes me feel good and happy and joyful and full of love and like I can do anything. And that's the energy that we want to manifest in, right? It doesn't matter if this is your reality at the time. This is what you're wanting to create. And you can literally, again, speaking the words, I want to bring this energy into my reality, right? But what is your perception? What is your perception? Do you even believe that's possible? And if you don't, then that's a good place to look at, to bring healing, because there could be, and I can speak to this, there could be so many disappointments that you couldn't even begin to sit and count them up, right? Transmuting those, but if we're not, if we're living in that energy, if we haven't been able to let those things go, they are going to be taking away our joy and our energy. But looking at the perception, shift my perception so that I can see from this higher vibration energy instead of what is being reflected, right? They say our life is a reflection of our internal world. And I do believe that to a certain extent, for like 98, 99% of that. But at the same time, I feel like we have to start somewhere, right? We have to start somewhere. And so if you need to start at the simplest form of just, you know what, I don't know how to make this happen, but I do know I don't like how I feel right now. I want to be able to let go of this, and this in your feelings and in your thoughts. And I want to bring in, so I am inviting and I am accepting and receiving this, and this, and to have this take the place of this, to learn what I need to learn from this. But I don't have to keep going through it again and again and again, right? Help me to learn it, to recognize it, understand it, get it, got it, let it go, right? All right. So I've been trying to keep my videos shorter, but this one seems to be taking a while. So, sometimes you just got to go with the flow. You just got to go with the flow. All right. What else do we have? Thank you. Environment. I am excited to share the things I no longer love or need with people who will love or need them. So there is some decluttering, some letting go of things that would be beneficial to happen and take place, right? These are talking about things that you just don't use, things that are just non-serving anymore. Instead of hanging on to them and having them take up not only physical space, but energetic space, it would be very beneficial to go through and do a decluttering process so that you can let these things go, which may sound kind of funny, but bottom line is that, you know, if we declutter a room, right, we've freed up energy as well. It's not just space. It's space that has a vibration, has a frequency, has an energy. It creates more flow, right? And personally, you know, I like to, once I do decluttering like that, I like to basically, again, through my higher power, I call in a cleansing of my space, the energies, the frequencies, the vibrations, the flow, right? To clear out any energetic debris, toxicity, pollution, just staleness, you know, just the non-serving, and bring in, you know, blah, 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 blah. So, oh, so funny. So funny. You can't make this stuff up. So the two that came out was tenderness and priorities. Tenderness and priorities. And what was I saying about these? Sometimes it's going to be important to prioritize. Look at your big picture. Look at all the different working parts and then prioritize. What is it that is going to be most beneficial for you to, you know, put your attention on this one thing, and let me get this one out of the way, get it healed, get it whatever, and then I can move on to the next one. Priorities. So get your priorities straight. When you know what's important, saying no gets much easier. So saying no. So there's going to be things, or there are things that are currently not serving you that you're saying yes to. Now that can be a literal, physical, you know, yes, I'll go do this, that, or that for you, or yes, I'll take on this, that, or that for you. But it's not aligned, right? It's not aligned. Otherwise, it wouldn't be telling you to. We wouldn't be talking about. Sorry about that. Shaking it. We wouldn't be talking about prioritizing. There can be saying yes to things outside of us, meaning doing favors and that kind of things for other people. But there's also saying yes to accepting things within ourselves that just aren't aligned anymore, like routines, habits, certain perceptions, ways of beliefs, which, you know, perceptions, beliefs, right? That are just not serving anymore. These are things within ourself. When we have these certain beliefs that are just not serving, you figure beliefs, the mental, the emotional, work together in influencing our actions. So if we're wanting to shift our reality, we're going to have to do things differently. To do things differently, we're going to have to be looking at, and I don't mean have to, you know, it's not have to, it's always free will, free choice. If you're wanting to change this, then there needs to be this willingness. You know, there's it's up to you. Are you going to be willing to look at doing things differently? Are you going to be willing to look at what beliefs do I have that are non-serving? Pick a topic or whatever it is that's going on. What are my beliefs about that? Are they negative? Are they low vibing? And you know, you can sit and anything that makes you go, whatever, you know, that's something, there's something there, right? If you have, you know, this topic, whatever this topic is, and you're like, yeah, well, I can't change that, or well, it's the way it's always been. Well, yeah, I can't do la 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 la. Whatever language you're using, if it is not healthy, balanced, you know, aligned, if you're not feeling a good vibration from that, it's something that would be beneficial for you to look at. Tenderness. Okay, tenderness. We talked about meeting yourself where you are. This isn't about beating yourself, beating yourself up, condemning yourself, blaming yourself, because that just puts you in this constant loop and wheel, a circle, cycle, right? And now with all these circles there, these rings there, right? I feel like there could be several loops, wheels, cycles that you just keep going round and round and round and round and round with. These things that just keep showing up, these things that you just keep going through. And it's like, well, again, how many times do you have to walk into the wall before you decide, gee, that hurts. Maybe I should, you know, I don't know, look this way, look that way. Maybe I need to backtrack a little bit and go in another direction, whatever that may be for you. But yeah, meet yourself where you are, instead of beating yourself up and condemning yourself for it. We also see a little girl here and a woman. We see a little girl with her doll and some toys. So for some of you, these could be things that it's about unparenting and reparenting yourself. And that's not to point fingers at parents by any means. But there might be some wounds that go far back and into your childhood. For those of you who believe in past lives and things like that, you know, there could be childhood wounds from a past life or past lives. So again, being open to think about and consider other things. So we have speak gently to yourself and cherish the child within. So again, if you don't know anything about inner child work, it's, you know, start doing some investigating for yourself and see what resonates with you and leave the rest. Are we doing? Okay. Last card. Oops. Last card. This one right here keeps talking to me. All right, so we're going to see what flies out, but they definitely had me looking at that one. I'll tell you that one in a second. All right. What else? What else do we have? Thank you. Funny. Yep. Okay. All right. So the one that kept drawing my attention was this self-love card. Self-love. And taking care of ourselves is not selfish. It's just not. We're often told that, or taught that, but it's not. So care for your body. Self-love and self-acceptance are ultimate acts of self-care. So that may be playing a role in these cycles, in these rings, loops, wheels, whatever, that could use some healing, is how you perceive yourself. How do you believe about yourself? And maybe, you know, bringing in some more love for yourself. And then we had relaxation. You know, again, there's that whole, you know, I went for some R&R. I need some R&R, right? Which I don't think anybody really says that much anymore nowadays, but that was a saying many moons ago. And it's, you know, rest and relaxation, where, you know, it's one is about the body, one is about the mind, and it is important to do both. Okay. Allow yourself to be lazy. It's okay to do nothing. And, you know, again, everything is about perspective. Everything is about balance, right? So, we're not talking about, oh, okay, well, they said I don't have to do anything. It's not what we're saying. And I'm just going to share these quickly because these seem to fit with, you know, there's this looking for peace. Embrace your confusion, right? Embrace it. Look at it. Look at your beliefs. Look at these things. Break them up into digestible pieces. Let there be peace in not knowing all the answers, right? We don't always know everything. which again is why it's best to have this willingness to be flexible, because we can have this big picture over here in mind, but maybe it's not supposed to look exactly like that. Releasing, yep, letting go, decluttering, clearing things out, right? Letting other people benefit from things that just don't serve you anymore. And we talked about how that frees up space and energy flow and all of that. And in working through all of this, and the wounded healer, right, is going to be releasing a lot of stuff, a lot of perceptions, a lot of beliefs, and that can be very emotional. It can have a lot of things that are a part of that journey. But a lot of that is letting go of the emotions that we have as part of beliefs, and allowing those emotions to be processed so that we don't recreate, right? We don't want to recreate it. So it's not just a belief and a perception, it's the emotional, taking the charge out of that, taking the charge and the traumas out of the body. I hope that makes sense. It says, have a good cry. Grief is a doorway to your deepest self. Have a good cry. Release, doorway to your deepest self. Support. So again, where you need help, ask for it. We talked about that. Offer your support to someone and experience the joy of serving others. And I would also say, though, again, we talked about if you need to get support, you need help, you need whatever it is, then go find that, go do that, go be that. For some people, they heal by doing for others. But again, with balance and alignment, this isn't about overdoing and taking the focus off of what you're trying to create, heal, let go of, bring in, etc., etc. So again, perception, look at things with balance. Okay. And then listen to your wise self. Let your inner compass direct the course of your life. It is important to listen to ourselves. It's important to listen to ourselves. It's important to understand ourselves. And then we have self-respect. Respect yourself. You're the best judge of what's right. You're the best judge of what is right. Which again, it's like, it's that talking about how, go out, find people that, or whatever it is that you need to support and help you in all of this. But it is important. You are the best judge of what's right for you. So again, just like I say at the beginning of my readings, and I feel like it's a rule of thumb for everything. If it doesn't resonate with you, then it's not for you. And there's a difference between, well, that doesn't resonate with me, and something that ticks us off or makes us roll our eyes or whatever. Because there's also that saying is, which a friend of mine used to say, what pricks you is for you. So if you have that kind of reaction, there's something in that. There's a charge there for some reason. And that's different with, oh, well, it's interesting, but it just doesn't feel like that's for me, which is very different than that pricking kind of sensation. So anyways, guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope you recognize and understand the different steps that can help you through this journey of this portion. And until next time, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and the notification bell. Each and every one of those steps really, really do help me. They help the channel, and more importantly, they help us to help others who may be looking for these kind of messages and just haven't found them. So anyways, until next time, guys, bye.